to go to work. So we are going to prove that what we are required to prove, we are required to prove that line AM is equal to what? Line what? MB. This is what we are required to prove, meaning we are required to prove that what? We are required to prove that a line segment drawn from the center of the circle to the midpoint of the chord is perpendicular to the chord, or it's a converse of it, which we can see what? Which you can say line segment drawn from the center of the circle perpendicular to the chord bisects the chord. So, but you may be required to prove it this way. You may be required to prove if the lines are if that line AM is equal to MB, or you may be given that the lines are bisected. Then you have to prove what? That they are perpendicular, that the line is perpendicular to the other one. So if it's like this, guys, I repeat, if you want to prove that angles, example, if you want to prove that sides are equal, you prove it via what? Congruency. It is even done in grade 12, including even in proportionality. Many times, if you are proving if the point is bisecting a line, most of the time you're going to prove it via what? Via congruency. Without wasting any time, let me not waste any of your time. We can see that we have a circle, and that has a what? The circumference. Meaning what? The circumference of the circle tells you if this is the inside or the outside of a circle. Meaning, if this is the circumference of the circle, everything inside the circumference is what? It is the circle. And then anything that is outside the circumference, it's not part of the circle. That is number one. Number two, every circle in the world has a center. A center is what? It is the middle part of what? it's the middle part of the what? Of the circle. Meaning what? If you draw any line from the center to the circumference of the circle in any direction that you prefer, they are all going to be equal in length. Meaning that line will be regarded as what? As a radius. A circle has 360 radiuses that are equally in length. Number two, we have what? We have line AB. But this is not just a line. This is what we regard as what? This is what we regard as a chord. What is a chord? A chord is a line that is drawn from the circumference of the circle to another part of the circumference of the circle, including a diameter. A diameter is a chord, but it's just what we regard as what? As a specialized chord. What does that mean? Specialized chord means what? It is a chord, but it is the only chord that passes through the center of the circle. Now, number two, we have a line segment. A line segment is a line that moves from any point of the circle to another point of the circle. Sometimes it may even pass, or maybe even produced, may even go out of the circle. It is any line that is not what? A chord. Now, let that be the case. Let's prove that line AM is equal to what? To MB. How are we going to prove it? We are going to prove it by what? By what is this? By congruency. This is what we are going to do, guys. We are going to do what we call construction. Because remember, to prove congruency, you have to have certain shape. It's either a quadrilateral or a triangle. But the problem with congruency here, these are not shapes. These are just two lines that are what? Are perpendicular to each other. We are going to what? We are going to generate what? Our own shapes. So what are we going to do? We are going to join OA and what? And OB. This is what we're going to do. We are going to join OA and what? And OB. And construction, guys, please don't do a solid line. If you do a solid line, you are going to get them wrong sometimes. Because a construction is to say, this line was not here. And I have inserted this line to give myself a perfect shape to prove congruency. So if you draw a solid line, you are saying, I was given that structure. Now, number two, if you didn't do any construction, even if you are correct here, you are going to get a 0, guys. Because you are going to be talking about a line or a shape that doesn't even exist. I repeat, no construction, 0. So we draw. So number one, you are going to get 1 mark for for the construction. Now I repeat, guys, make sure that when you construct, your line ends at what? At A, and it ends at what? At B. I tell my students every single time, if your line is not connected to B, you're going to get a 0. It doesn't exist what you're talking about. Now number 2, now we prove. Now we have triangle 1, we have triangle 2. So we have 2 triangles now. We have triangle AOM, and we now have what? Triangle OMB. This is a triangle that we have. Now on these triangles that we have, these 2 triangles that we have, we are going to prove that they are congruent. Now let's start with what? With a given. What are we given in this triangle? We are given number 1, statement and the reason. Now what are we given? We are given that angle what? Angle OMB is equals to what? To 90. This is a given. This is a given, guys. Why is it a given? It is part of your drawing. You didn't construct, you didn't do anything. They gave you that angle is equal to what? Is equal to 90. Now it also means what? It also means angle AMO is also equal to what? To 90. Why? Angles on a straight line. That is the angles on a straight line. Okay, guys. So that means also this part is also what? Equal to 90. Meaning angle OMB is equal to angle AMB. Guys, why? Both equal to 90. They are both equal to what? To 90. Please do not write anything in Euclidean geometry without a reason. So now we have proved that this angle is equal to this angle. Now number 2, we're going to say OA is equal to what? To OB. Remember, I gave you guys a statement. I said any line that moves from the center of the circle to the circumference of the circle, we are going to regard it as what? As a radius. And there's 360 of them, and all of them are equal in what? In length. So OA moves from the center to the circumference. OB moves from the center to the circumference, meaning both of them are what? Are radiuses, which are radii. Meaning they are all equal in length. So number 3, we now have what? We will now be having OM being equal to what? To OM. Why? Because OM is a side that belongs to triangle AOM, and again it is a side that belongs to what? To OMB, meaning what? It is what you regard as what? As a common side. But the side OM belongs to the other triangle, to this triangle, and OM also belongs to what? To this triangle. Now I don't know if you know a scripture in Numbers that says if you have 3 witnesses witnessing a crime, that person is guilty. It said if 3 witnesses were giving a witness to a crime, the person would be guilty, guys. Now, meaning what? In order for you to conclude a theorem, you have to have 3 reasons. And we have made those 3 reasons. Number 1, we have proved that these 2 angles are equal. Number 2, we have proved that this side is equal to this side. And then number 3, we have proved that we have what? A common angle, a common side. Meaning we have been able to what? To prove what? Congruency. We will say what? We'll end up saying conclusion. Triangle AOM is congruent to triangle OMB. What is the reason for us to say this? Remember, we have to have a reason again. The reason is what? The reason is that we have proved that an angle of this triangle and the angle of this triangle are equal. We have proved that one side of this triangle and one side of this triangle is equal, and then we have proved another side that the side of this triangle and this side are equal. So you have gotten 1 mark for construction, 1 mark for each of your 3 reasons. Now you have to have what? A conclusion, because in the exam this is actually what? 5 marks. Where is your 1 mark conclusion. Your conclusion says what? Your conclusion, you'll say what? You'll end up saying what? Triangle what? Line AM is equal to what? To line MB. You can't just say this, guys. You have to give a reason. Why are you saying this line is equal to this side? Because triangle AOM is congruent to triangle OMB. And that is your answer. Then you get 1 mark for that, meaning you have a total mark of what? Of 5 marks. This will be required from you in the exams to prove. And then thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And let's make this day a productive day. Thank you very much. See you guys soon. Sharp, sharp.